What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Stop Yelling podcast. My name is Kayla Howard, and I am conflicted on how I feel because I've been seeing a lot. My girlfriend brought up to me the other day, and she was just like, dude, have you been like seeing what's going on with Doja Cat? And I was like, I don't really listen to her music. I don't really like follow her, so no. Apparently, if you haven't been seeing what Doja Cat has been up to, and I am really scared because I feel like I'm about to just get zapped from beyond this computer screen. My computer's about to break down. This podcast is about to go to shit. It's gonna be game over. I'm talking about Doja Cat because what the fuck? Go on her Instagram. I tried looking up this stuff because I was showing my girlfriend last night, and I was just like, dude, have you been seeing what's going on? And I tried showing her one of the photos from her Instagram, and she deleted it. All of her other creepy ones are on there. There's like things of her doing like paranormal shit, like hanging from the ceiling. Like she had this huge mannequin, like real life looking mannequin of herself, like in downtown Chicago. And she was covered in blood, like literally looked like she just got shredded of her skin and just was put on the street. Dude, it was, if I would have seen that in real life, IRL, I would have been like, Mom, please come pick me up. What the fuck is happening? If you're watching the video podcast, then this is great for you. But if you're not, I'm sorry. But here I am typing in. Oh, I typed in the wrong person. No. Do you ever do that? You like think of something and then you type it out, or like texting somebody, something just like happened in the background and you just typed it out. Yeah. Okay. Anyways. Okay. So first things first. Okay, I don't even want to look at it. I just showed it to the audience that's watching. You see what I'm saying. Okay, that shit freaks me out. And I've been like, I haven't looked too much into it because, okay, I'm like really into conspiracy theories and shit, but I didn't want to look too much into it because I've been focusing a lot on like my faith and my connection with like my spirit guides and my God and angel numbers and God and grace. Okay, so all of this devil shit I can't do. I don't fuck with at all. So I was trying not to look too much into it. But I was seeing a lot about like her 27th birthday and how like the Illuminati sign or whatever that correlates to was like on her cake, and her whole birthday theme was like surrounded about this like movie that's based on like sacrificing or like cults or whatever the fuck. Weird ass shit going on. Okay, so everyone's like, oh, well, she probably is just a new member of the Illuminati. Like, why is everybody freaking out? I don't know. Conspiracy theories, although there's so much about this world and about the government and about the fucking earth. Did you just see also, I opened Instagram this morning and the first thing I see is, oh, the new hotel just got launched in space. Like, are you fucking for real? Are you actually telling me that you've been working on that since 2019? If you really think back to what 2019 was, this was before COVID. This was before all the like crazy juju in the world has been happening. Like, I feel like 2019 was a pretty decent year, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's pretty dope. If you really think about it, like if you actually see the Instagram feed, like slide feed, you can like see the people like waking up and looking out their window and just seeing Earth. Like, to me, that is just, could you imagine? Like, I've been doing a lot of traveling and I've woken up to mountains. I've woken up to cactuses, cacti, however, and just to wake up to the earth. Like, I guess whoever tries it out, just let me know. I wonder how much it would actually be to go up there, but if you're that rich, just let me know. The world has just evolved into such a crazy, just, I don't even know. And I'm raising a child in this shit. Like back then, honestly, like, okay, so really quick, me having a child, when I was a teenager, always wanted to be a young mom because my mom had me at 16. And I liked how close in age we were. Although it came with its like ups and downs. Everyone's like, oh my God, it must be so amazing. And I'm like, yeah, well, she knows everything because she just went through it. So she ain't a dumbass. Try getting away with everything. It's really hard when you can also do that because you're mom is 55 and has no clue what the fuck you're doing. So no, it wasn't really the craziest friendship of a relationship, but it came with its pros. And I was just looking at that and I wanted that for myself as well. And I wanted to do it in a different way too. And I feel like I'm doing a very good job at that, but not going to get a little sentimental right now. Also, her birthday's on Tuesday. Happy birthday, Aria. Oh, wait. Oh my God. This episode will be coming out on Tuesday. It is Tuesday today. Happy birthday, Aria. I love you so much. I don't know why I didn't start. It's okay. You guys get this. I obviously had to record this before the actual release date. Happy birthday, Aria. Mommy loves you. You are amazing. But going back to what I was saying, my ADHD is on 100 today. I wanted to be a young mom. And then I thought to myself, well, fuck, I'm looking at how life is, and life was already kind of fucked up at that point. I mean, life was always fucked up. It has its up and downs regardless of the time period. But I was like, how am I supposed to raise a daughter or a son in this world? Like, it freaked me out. So on that end, I didn't want to have a kid at all because when shit's going on like this right now, how am I supposed to navigate that? But you get what I'm saying. It's like we're here actually raising these kids and like going through it ourselves without knowing what the hell is going to be next. And it's progressing so quickly. Technology, psychotic people. But the messed up part is about the Doja Cat thing. It's like people who are praising the literal devil or whatever they're doing. I don't know. I'm not a member. I'm just going off what I heard. I'm curious. I want to know the actual details. And I was actually going to have a guest on this episode, but things didn't work out with the scheduling and getting her on here. So she is not here, but I wanted to get deep into conspiracy theories. And I feel like just me talking to you guys about conspiracy theories might be a little bit boring because you need somebody to banter with. You need somebody to bounce ideas off of. So I want to go through an in-depth episode because conspiracy theories are dope to talk about. Because like my whole podcast wants to be about like the podcast persona, stop yelling, wants to be about growth and maturing and learning from mistakes and not being so hard on yourself and to take the constructive criticism. Live and let live, the motto, the famous motto. But on the other end of it, life is amazing, yeah, but life also has the shit that I want to find out about that I don't think we should need to or should find out about. If you're deep into your faith, I didn't want this episode to be, I'm spitballing, guys. Majority of these episodes, the past couple ones I've recorded, well, the only ones I've recorded, this is only episode 4, have just been me sitting in front of the microphone, just rolling off of what I'm thinking about. So I'm sorry that if you're not into faith, if you're not into any of this, like, I don't know what to tell you, but there's a barrier between following what God says, what the Bible says, what path you're supposed to be on. You're supposed to let him take control of everything. You're not supposed to stray away from what it says. Follow it completely. Okay, wholehearted, like Christian, basically. I did not grow up Catholic. Either way, I'm more on the Christian end of it. But with that being said, following pure Christianity, to my knowledge, would be not to look or not to try to debrief or figure out life on the other end in the other spectrum, because you should just follow what the Bible says, and that's just that. And that's the way to be. So obviously me, myself, I mean, anybody who has watched my life, been friends with me, learned my podcast, I'm not a pure Christian, but I'm curious. I love science. I love spirituality. I love astrology, and all of that is against the word of God. And it's so hard for me to want to debrief all of this stuff and go through my conspiracy theories, and me having 444 tattooed on me. My grandma fucking freaked out. But it's like, there is so much more in life that makes so much sense that you cannot tell me that we aren't meant to see and know that shit. Like, I live by angel numbers. When I'm going through something and I see that angel number, that like sets me. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm meant to be here. Or, I know change is coming, or whatever you're thinking about at that moment in time. But I have a point to make. I say this to everybody. I asked this question to my 8th grade teacher, and the question still stands. No one has ever given me a logical answer. I've tripped a lot of people out with this question because they're like, wait, now you're fucking me up. And I'm like, exactly. Okay, so here's the question. Little old me, 8th grade, science class. Like I said, love science class, love chemistry. I'm a hairstylist. You know the drill. My forte. Say I'm in a spaceship, rocket ship, space hotel between Earth and whatever fucking planet you want. The moon, Saturn. You're in the middle of the 2 planets, open space. Of course, you're floating, but if gravity was a thing, if you were to get out of the hotel, if you were to step out, if you were to get out of that rocket ship, if you were to whatever, be in the middle floating, and then boom, gravity button turns on, where are you falling? I've gotten answers. Well, you would just keep falling. Okay, but where are we floating at? I get it. We're in the Milky Way and we're in the fucking galaxy and there's so many galaxies and you just get sucked into a different dimension. But it's like, where is this dimension? And if there's some puppeteer fucking playing with us, are we just a gas bubble? We're just floating. You know what I'm saying though? Like, where the fuck would we go? It trips me out. And this was me in 8th grade. It's not just because I'm sitting here high or something, because that's a different story, because all those ideas are written in my notes. I crack myself up. I've gotten so many answers. Well, that would never happen because gravity's not real. Well, no fucking shit. No shit. But hypothetically speaking, where would you go? Also, you cannot tell me that a freaking technology made it all the way out light years and light years and light years away outside of the quote unquote Milky Way, took a picture of it, managed to get it back to planet Earth to then post it on a billboard saying, this is what the Milky Way looks like. Are you fucking serious, you guys? I sound like a dumbass. For people that are actually just not into this shit, they're like, this bitch doesn't have any idea what she's talking about. These are just ideas, okay? Life is not that serious sometimes. Like, just play around with it. It's fun. Lighten up. I've been watching Bachelor in Paradise lately, and I need to talk about these episodes. Who's been watching? Raise your hand. Okay, great. So it's only been 2 episodes. I just watched this past episode last night. And can we just talk about Will? I want to talk about Will for a second, because this is what I'm going to get into in a minute. Will is a guy that comes down. He has his eyes on this one girl. It started off with one girl, okay, Olivia. They're like making out, whatever. He goes on a date with Kaylee. Kaylee takes him on a date. They start falling in love, whatever the fuck. And Kaylee's over here like, oh my God, you're like my man, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the man that she actually likes comes down the next day, takes her on a date, and it was like, fuck you, Will, bye, I'm gonna go on the date. Comes back to Will and is all like, oh, well, I like this guy more than you now, so I'm going to go with him. And now Will's heartbroken. Olivia, the first girl, is laughing in his face because she's like, haha, you got karma because you just left me for fucking Kaylee, and now Kaylee just left you. And now Will's sitting here all vulnerable in his feels and shit. And then what do you know? A new girl comes down. Well, not comes out. She was already there. A new girl walks over to him after just being dumped and what have you, and is like, well, I liked you the entire time. I'm so sorry about everything, but now we can be together. Straight up swooped his ass while he was vulnerable and was like, this is my chance. I was sitting watching this with my girlfriend and she was like, hi, hello, that's me. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. I am not a Swiftie, I'm sorry, but it was just hilarious because females, man, even men, you already know. You men, as soon as your homie drops his girl, you're gonna be the first one to fucking tell her, like, oh, I'm sorry. You were amazing. We all enjoyed having you around. Let me know if you need anything. You're just trying to do that so you can smash her next. Come on now. And it's probably happened because I've done it. I have done it. This one time I was dating, it was, I'm sorry, Don. Well, me and Don had broken up, whatever. And the whole time I was fancying his other friend. And after me and Don had broken off, me and the other friend got together. So yeah, ruined that friendship. But hey, I said, that's your guys' friendship, not me. You didn't have to come at me. That's your boy. Me and him are broken up. That's not my problem. That's your problem. So anyways, this bitch just comes in when he's vulnerable. But I had this thought last night and I needed to write it down because it was way too good and I knew I was not going to remember it this morning. I said, are you offering to be their soon-to-be discarded rebound relationship? Or do you wait for that emotional stability so that a real relationship can work? You're putting yourself into this man or woman's vulnerable situation knowing that you can be temporary. If you're just wanting a quick little fun little thing, hooking up, doing whatever, enjoying them while they're just trying to be loved, then fantastic, do that shit. Perfect. But on the other end, it's like, are you really going to have a stable relationship out of this? Because Will was like, oh, it should have always been you. Like, babe, if it would have been her the whole time, you would have already been with her. But that's another thing because sometimes that doesn't always work that way. I don't know. I had a situation, my last relationship, he basically like dumped this bitch a week after meeting me, a weekend, not even really a couple, like honestly a couple days. Dumped this girl and I couldn't even feel, I felt bad about it because I had just met her and like she's dope. Like she's a cool girl. Like, and I still feel like shit about it. But at the time I'm like, well, I wasn't close enough with her for me to actually feel that bad because I do follow girl code. Like I would never touch one of my fucking girls, dudes, ever. But we just had met. Like we didn't have that friendship. So when he expressed his interest in me, I was just like, I'm not even gonna try to sit and think too much about it. I'm just gonna go for it. And I did. And it went and turned into this whole relationship that I've been talking about and turned out terribly. But I was just like, okay, he did just get out of a relationship. I'm not going to see him as often because like I do have another life and I didn't really have as much time as I kind of do now to like have to actually enjoy to myself at that time. So I only could see him maybe every other weekend. Okay. So at that time I'm like, well, relationship can't even come out from it anyway. So I was enjoying just these little hookups every 2 weeks. I was like, whatever. And of course, when you're hooking up with someone consistently and they're quote unquote not hooking up with anybody else, you kind of develop a little bit of feelings. I think we were kind of not exclusive to each other that entire time, but I still developed feelings. He developed feelings too. He was the first, he told me he loved me first. But all of this toxic shit from dating me directly after a relationship. And in this case, when I'm referring back to what I said, are you offering to be their soon to be discarded rebound, or can a relationship actually come out of this? I'm tripping over my words now, per usual. But when he came at me, I'm like, well, I'm not his rebound because she didn't break up with him. He broke up with her for me. So I'm not looking at myself as a rebound right now. But that is a huge red flag because you can do that to me at any given point. The next biddy that comes around, you're just going to drop me and that's going to be that. But I still took it for what it was. And I was like, I could just fuck around for a little bit. You're hot. Fine. You're cool. I'm glad that turned into what it was. So basically, at the end of the day, just don't fucking approach a man or a woman that just got out of a relationship and is vulnerable because it's probably not going to end up well. Regardless, because even if you are that person that's just hooking up with them after the fact, they're still going to probably develop feelings because chances are you're probably dope as fuck. I mean, come on. You're dope as fuck. So they're obviously going to fall in love with you. I'm glad we're all on the same page. But thinking about like what I have been talking about my past couple episodes, like I do feel really bad. I don't feel bad. That's not the correct word. I feel just care. I care. And it sucks because it's like, why do we care? Why do I have to still care? Like you fucking did what you did to me. Why do I still care? But at the end of the day, because I think I'm talking about it and it's like my vent session, whatever, even though it is trying to be content for you guys, but it is my venting session still at the end of the day because I'm talking to myself and you guys. And then thinking about it, I'm like, I do still think about him. I'm like, is he okay? Is he hurting himself? Is he doing what he needs to be doing with himself? Or is he depressed and not eating or not, like, but at the end of the day, it's not on me. I didn't do anything to have that sense of guilt. My first boyfriend that I ever dated, Joe is his name. And the people that do know him know his story. And I don't want to speak poorly on him at all, but there was one point in our relationship that we were going through tough times, and he would threaten his life upon our relationship. And he would send me a photo of a pile of pills and would say, if you don't answer me, I'm going to eat these. And if you've ever dealt with a relationship that basically like is life threatening, or they're threatening to hurt themselves or cut themselves or throwing any threat upon a relationship because you're not doing something or you're not answering or the relationship's not working, you can't be with them, and you're just trying to be for yourself, which has been the overall topic of all of these episodes. But it's a huge, huge topic because it comes in different forms. And in this form is really, really, really important because it is not your fault. It is not your fault at all. And I have to remind myself that, and you need to remind yourself of that too, if you are going through this or have gone through that, or even if it's gotten to that extent of the grief of losing that person and they've actually went through with it, and I'm over here like, I don't know. I don't have him on anything. His family hates me. I don't have any of his friends on anything. I blocked them all. So there would be no way of me to know any of this. And it's scary. But at the same time, we also kind of want to live in the, it's better if I don't know mindset. But it might be better that I don't know. But I went through that with my first boyfriend ever. And it was really hard because I felt obligated to stay with him because he was a drug addict. I mean, I did drugs with him at that time too. Like we would always spend our weekends like taking acid and laying on the trampoline and going on walks and like just having beautiful, beautiful moments. Yeah. But is that what normal 15 and 16 and 17-year-olds are doing? Not at all. Not at all. We lived in this different realm. And it's like, the thing is like we normalized doing drugs together and all of our friends doing drugs. So when things would be messy and he would send me a bunch of pills being like, I'm going to take all these, it was an instant trigger because I know he would. And that's the thing. It's like some people that you date, like, okay, yeah, they might be just all talk, but you never should ever think that it's all talk. You should always take that shit seriously. But especially when you know damn well that they're probably going to do it, like that's really scary. And I was freaking out. And here I'm not even with you. You're on the other side of the phone as me. I can't do anything about it right now other than to blow you up and to have no choice but to talk to you because what the fuck? So it's like a manipulative tactic and it's like, it's fucked up. Has anybody ever done that to you? Like, have you had a relationship that if you're not going to be with them, like they're threatening their life or they're threatening your life even? And then what do? I don't really have an answer for you. What I did in that situation, I mean, I would call him and I mean, it got to the point where it ended up just not working. And he did fix himself for a little bit. He went to the Navy, or a lot of it, actually. I have to give him so much more credit than what I am right now. But he got his life together completely. And unfortunately, he ended up coming back and he relapsed. And that's why he's not here today. But it got to the point where we weren't fighting like that. He wasn't threatening his life on me, and it still just wasn't at that point working out. So we ended up having a mutual agreement. We still stayed friends up through me and Don's relationship. I would still meet up with him and make sure that he was good. And Don was very, very respectful and allowed me to do that and be there for him, which I appreciate a lot because having a healthy relationship like that, no matter me and Don's up and downs, like we did have that healthy boundary of like, I do need to check on him regardless of us being exes and having a beautiful relationship. I can't just let him just figure it out. Like I can. It shouldn't be on me, but I wanted to be there. I needed to. And it just ended up still turning out the way that it did. But it's okay. But now with my most previous person and me thinking about all of this stuff, it's like, why am I thinking about you? Why? Like, yeah, he threw things to me and my mom about him basically not being healthy, losing weight, not eating, whatever. And I know how he is when he's in his depressional states and it gets really bad and he cuts himself off from the world. If you're that person, if you're shutting people out, like I know you can't help it in some ways, but I have a question. Do you ever think about the other person and how they're feeling? Or are you just completely like, and I'm really curious, like if you are that person, because I couldn't ever be that person. I also have a child that I have to wake up every day and do life regardless of how I'm feeling. But I am very curious, like if you are somebody that gets into these points of cutting the world off, not speaking to anybody, not showering, not taking care of yourself, are you just in this state of mind like, this is just where I have to be right now, and this is only for me, and like a selfish mindset? Or do you think about the person that's thinking about you, that's blowing you up, that's trying to make sure that you're okay? Like, do you feel sympathy for them or like feel like you want to reach out to them? Or maybe you think like that and you just simply can't because you don't want to be embarrassed? I'm just kind of going through these as they roll through my mind, but I am really genuinely curious because I tried to understand him so much because at first when I didn't really know him to his core, I was like, why the fuck are you cutting me off? And after I learned and had conversations, because I eventually got to the point where I'm like, okay, you really need to tell me what's going on because I can't help but think that you're cheating on me, which I think he ended up doing anyway. But I was like, I need to know. I have to understand what's going on. And we had the conversations. And then moving forward on that, I would try to be as patient as I could. I was patient. I kind of knew when it was coming. I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, just talk to me when you can, you know? And then he would come back and it would be like, boom, nothing even happened. And I'm like, okay, well, can we not forget about you just not talking to me for 6 days? Like, it's kind of hard for me to be like, yay, thanks for messaging me. Like, thanks for calling me. Like, this is so awesome. Thanks for sending me a meme. Like, wow. Like, I can't just jump back into that shit. Like, what? But it would get to the point where he was super, super just unhealthy, just not taking care of himself. I'm not going to sit here and say he's probably thriving right now. He's probably living life. Probably already has a new bitch, probably rolling around and whatever. He's probably got all this fucking vacation money, blah, 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 blah. Probably having a great time. But on the other end of me, I'm like, maybe he's not internally. I don't know. And I want him to be living and thriving because I want to be living and thriving too. I would want him to want me to be thriving. And I want him to be thriving as well. Thriving, man. That is such a good word. I say that 98% of the times that I'm recording my podcast. We should put like a little thing down here. How many times did Kayla say thriving this point? Bing, 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 bing. Yeah, it would probably rack up. If I had $1 for every time Kayla said thriving, I'd be rich. I want him to be thriving, but at the same time, I'm like, are you though? Maybe I'm just overthinking. I don't know. I hope he is. I'm sure he is. For the whole last part of this episode, I want to go over the key points of what to take away from this because my ADHD probably was all over the place and I'm sorry. But the key points to take away from this is, do you or do you not approach somebody when they're vulnerable and out of a relationship? Or do you get into a relationship with somebody that just got out of a relationship, whether or not they broke up with them or they were broken up with? Personal opinion, I wouldn't. I would allow space if you actually want a relationship out of it. If you want this person, or if you've been waiting in the background of their relationship to end and you're like, ooh, they just broke up, I'm going to go in now, you probably are only going to have this be a temporary thing. Not all the time does it happen that way, but more than likely it is ending up being a temporary thing. And if you're okay with that, roll with it. fucking DM them, show up at his house, show up at his workplace, do whatever you got to do. Call his mom. Tell him that you are the next person in line. But if you actually do want a relationship with this person, if you saw their relationship and, oh my God, he's such a good boyfriend, she's such a good girlfriend, like, oh, they probably had great sex and he probably paid for everything, and oh my God. Well, I hate to break it to you, sister or brother. It probably won't go that way for you. Or it will, because he's going to fall so deeply in love with you because you are the baddest bitch ever. And he's going to be so obsessed with you because you're perfect. Just got to live in delusion. Same with you. If you're a man, dude, you have the biggest cock ever. That thing, you don't need any help finding the clit. You got that shit. Your muscles, biggest muscles ever. Yeah, you can bench. What's your max? Exactly. She's going to fall in love with you because you got everything that she wants. Exactly. You have emotional stability. Run that. So if that's you, that's all of you beautiful creatures, then yeah, get after that relationship. Run after them after they're vulnerable, whatever. But if you don't want to get your heart broken, stay inside. Just wait for them to be emotionally stable. Just wait for that person that actually wants to be with you and is going to be meant for you to come into your life, because you're not going to find it trying to sit on the other side of your phone screen waiting for someone else's relationship to end so that you can have your fucking star moment. Okay, it's just not going to happen. Another key point is that if you're going through a relationship or have gone through a relationship and you're feeling guilty, or if you're currently in that situation of someone threatening their life or threatening you against the relationship, I don't want to tell you what the correct thing to do is, because I don't feel there is any correct way other than to just try to be there for them. But at the same time, depending on what situation you're going through or how toxic it is, it's hard to be there for them still, even if it's out of fear or whatever. Even if it's out of pure love, it's hard to be there for that person still, depending on how toxic it is. If it's not really that toxic and it's something more on the minuscule side, depending on how you view it, because everyone has their own perspectives on how big or small something is. So that is up for you to decide. But take whatever situation you're going through, look at it, see how big or small that you feel that it is. If you are able to get yourself out of it, get yourself out of it immediately, because that is not healthy. It's not healthy at all. And as much as you guys love toxic relationships, because don't get me wrong, they're fun sometimes, but that shit turns into something that you're going to carry on for the rest of your life. Depending on how big or small it gets, it could go all the way to the extent of really being in harm. And you don't want to take that chance or risk it. Even if it started off super, super small, it can escalate quickly. So if you're able to get out now. Do better for yourself. I promise you, the person that's supposed to be with you is out there somewhere, but you can't get to them until you leave that toxic relationship. And I promise you, you will find the person that's way better than them. Even if you're clinging on to just, oh, well, the sex is amazing. Yeah, well, fuck yeah. My last sex, we had perfect sex. I had nothing wrong there. I haven't had sex in fucking forever. Okay. But am I sitting here allowing myself to still go through fucking bullshit? I did for a little bit. I was like, yeah, I couldn't get rid of the sex, so I'm just going to sit here and let him fucking treat me like shit. Yeah, I did a little bit of that. I'm guilty. But come on. Buy the fucking vibrator. You're fine. You'll be fine. But if it's a situation that you can't do really anything about it and you can't leave and they are really actually threatening you, then if you can try to talk to somebody, you need to talk to somebody. You need to tell some, even if they don't believe you, you have to tell somebody. Even if they don't look at you like it's something important or stressworthy, or, oh, they're not going to do it, it shouldn't really matter. You don't want to take that chance, because if it does actually happen, then what? So just try to talk to somebody and maybe you'll get that perfect answer and whatever, but at least somebody knows. But at the end of the day, it's really not on you. It is not on you. It's good that you're telling somebody about it, but all in all, you just need that validation that if something does happen, it's not on you. It's up to them. You can't do anything about it and you cannot control it. But thank you guys so much for listening again, yet another week. And you guys are amazing. And I love my consistent couple listeners, because it just allows me to keep recording and doing what I love to do. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And also, happy birthday, Aria Ray. Mommy loves you so, so much. Make sure to download this episode and stay positive. Love yourself. Enjoy life as it comes. And stop yelling at yourself. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Bro. Are you fucking real, man?